The 15th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. All rise for a pledge of allegiance, please.
Wait a minute. Let's get this.
You got it, John? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And thanks for coming or tuning in. Little request before we get into announcements is a lot of people know there is an annual Secret Santa that operates out of the town office and in other locales within the town, but and this year they are down to the final week here and are still seeking donations. They have not quite covered all of the need. So if anyone would like to make a donation, either in toys or in money,
By Friday.
it has to be done by Friday. And if you come into the town office, just speak to Nancy Johnson, and I'm sure that she will be more than happy to make arrangements for your donation to find Secret Santa. So again, still kind of a pressing need, so if you're able to, we'd appreciate any type of donation. Any announcements from the board?
Sean is back full-time.
Sean is back full-time.
He'll be back in Waterboro next week.
Good.
That's a relief, actually.
Okay, we do have a 6 o'clock public hearing. So I would let me read this.
I'll move that we, no,
No, you're just going to discuss, it's public hearing.
that's right, you could do, you
The,
declare it open.
So I
And
will,
close it.
There you go.
I will open this public hearing, and the intent of the public hearing is to review a proposal to implement emergency management ordinance for the town of Waterboro. Intent and the purpose of the ordinance is to establish an emergency management agency in compliance and in conformity with the provisions of Title 37B, MRSA, Section 781, etc. to sequence to ensure the complete and efficient utilization of town's facilities and resources to combat disaster as defined herein. This has been proposed and brought forth several times, I guess, Pam? And the board, for whatever reasons, over the past have not enacted it. So we submit it for public hearing tonight for any input. And based on that, we will then make a decision of whether or not we will adopt it. So seeing as how Pam LaRue is the author of this, Pam, if you'd like to speak in
I think that in the past, it really wasn't a necessity, and now, because of the way FEMA administers their money on the output for recovery, this just makes it a lot easier to say, well, we have an ordinance that we follow, this is what we plan on paying, this is what happens during a disaster, that it's all nice and neat. It's just really to help the process along, that it will take a shorter amount of time to get money than a longer amount of time. It's just to neaten it up a little bit.
okay?
That's just basically, unless there's any other questions. The attorney has looked at it, and I think, Pam, we did some revisions, and she fixed those, so I think we're fine with the revisions, and should be a easygoing. Hopefully, we won't have any more disasters, at least this year, but in the future, it should make it easier to get recovery money back,
Good.
Good.
which is a good thing.
Any
That's
other, any questions?
Questions, gentlemen,
Comments?
ladies?
The only
comment that I had was the board is referred to as the Board of Selectmen, and then in other places as the Town Council.
I thought I corrected them all. If
It was towards the back end, I think it was.
I can wordsmith it one more time, or if Pammy wants to make sure that they all say Board of Selectmen.
Yep, that was the only thing, because
Yeah.
we don't, the
I want to
council.
make sure, because I tried to do that. And,
So I think tonight, then we, in a motion later on, we can say, in the motion, could say that all areas where it says council will be switched to Board of Selectmen,
Well, you can still sign it.
and not have to go through another public hearing.
right. I think that's it. There is actually one thing I just caught this minute as I'm looking at it, under Section 5, termination of emergency. When the town administrator or her successor, I probably should say designee, I don't think we should want to put successor there. I don't think that's an attorney phrase, I can't imagine. And that might have come out of the language that I took from the state, but I don't know if I really want assessor in there or not. Because it would be Nancy or her designee, which means it could be one of you.
Well, that's within even Section 4 at the very bottom of, well, the pages aren't numbered, but it says the same thing, the town administrator and/or her successor.
Well,
as
then maybe
outlined
that's the
above.
attorney put that in, because I don't remember typing it, but I must have.
Well, later on, it refers to the town administrator or designee.
Yeah, that one I put in
That's-
quite frequently, but I know the town attorney had looked at it as well, and I thought this was the final version. And it could be that in some places, they'd rather just say successor, which doesn't mean other than the fact that she's gone home for the night, and we can
Right.
assume that that's all there is to it, and someone else has exceeded her.
Well, is successor defined as someone that comes on after her, or
It's not defined at all in
or
this.
is it someone that takes her position as town administrator?
Well, that's what it sounds like, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Th- exactly.
Right, that's what it sounds like.
Well, in the emergency proclamation, not to, I mean, we could wordsmith this all night, but it says if the town administrator is temporarily absent from the town or otherwise unavailable, the person designated
Right,
by the town administrator under the town charter may issue the proclamation.
right, which is what you normally follow now, I believe.
So I'm not sure why the wording of town
Successor.
administrator or successor, because it's used in there on several occasions.
And to be truthful, I really don't know. Again, I took this from the template from the state that they said to be used for local ordinances, and tweaked it a little bit, and then the attorney looked at it, and I thought I had read it, and triple read it, triple read it, but I still found successor
And
just...
Natalie has looked at it, Pam? And are these the only changes that she made, was the,
I think just say, instead of successor, change successor to
Designate.
designee and Board of Selectmen
because if you
instead
look,
of,
if you look under Section 6, Town Administrator's Duties and Emergency Powers,
yeah,
the last 2 or 3 paragraphs say the
Say
town
designee.
administrator or her designee may.
Right.
So it's got to be a,
And this is not, this
It's
this
not
does not
affecting
change
intent at all, so,
the content
No.
of this at all. So I think in a motion, you can, we can just say that change successor to designee and change town council to Board of Selectmen.
if we at some point in time change the town manager from Nancy to a male, do we have to go change the words in this? to-
it's her, yeah, I know, I thought of that afterwards, I
says
was
the
gender
town
specific and should
administrator
not
or
have been. Hey, what do you want? But I think those are the only,
Grammatically, it should be his, but
yeah,
Well, for hundreds of years, it went the other way, so that was all balanced out.
his, her, right, his, her.
With her.
But that's it, that's all, it's just to make the paperwork
Yes.
easier. Thank you.
Thanks, Pam. Any other comments, questions? Not I'd
Now I'll
entertain
move
a
that we
mo-
close the hearing.
Moved by John, seconded by Gordon. Any discussion? All those in favor? All right, that's closed. Not quite 6:15, but we can take them a few minutes early. Jack?
I haven't invited anybody, so I think we're all here. About 10 days ago, we had a meeting, Victor Wright and Matthew Eddy from Eaton Peabody and myself with the Board of Selectmen. And this request comes out of that meeting. Personally, I thought it was a good meeting. I found it a very positive meeting, and some good things came out of it. My goal for that meeting was twofold. One is I wanted Matthew Eddy, who's been working with the Friends now for the last couple of months, to have a chance to meet with you and you to meet with him. We've had a very good working relationship with Matthew in the last 6 or 8 weeks, and I have every anticipation that he's going to be a very active player in the next 8 to 10 months and perhaps beyond that. And if we're successful, what we do will have a major impact on the town. So I thought it important that we have an initial conversation so everybody knows who everybody else is. And we accomplished that. I think he got a chance to tell you who he was and what we're thinking about and how we're proceeding and that kind of thing. So I think that was successful. The second piece is we wanted to be clear and have kind of a formal affirmation by the Board of Selectmen in support of our efforts to raise private funds for the library. We are proceeding with probably 10, 15 different foundations. Some can give us a couple of $1,000, and there are some that may be able to give us a couple of $100,000. We're also proceeding to talk with Shelley Pingree's office, who we're looking around and see if there's anything in the state level. And if we're going to do that, we need to be very sure that we can say to them, yes, the Board of Selectmen are supportive of our efforts to raise money for the new library. This has nothing to do with referendums. There's nothing to do with municipal funding. Those questions are still on the table. They will come up down the line. But this is just to really be able to say to these official organizations and foundations, we're just not a fly-by-night operation. We have the backing and the support of the Board of Selectmen in town. I don't know if, when we put this on the agenda, did they give you the sentence or two that we had put together?
Yep.
So you've seen that. It's pretty straightforward. So I would like to ask you to kind of formally affirm that so we can go forward and see how much money we can raise. And if there's any questions about any of that, or...
I think just to, a bit further with what was discussed that evening, I think some of the discussion around this was, I don't think that Matthew was looking for anything other than that the board endorses the Friends to go out and solicit money from anyone that they can.
Mm-hmm.
This is not, quote-unquote, an endorsement of the project and/or let's go fund it through, municipal bonds or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So, just so that, and the words are very specific, the Board of Selectmen of the town of Waterboro strongly support the efforts of the Friends of the Waterboro Public Library as they pursue alternate forms of outside funding to support the construction of the new Waterboro Public Library.
Yep.
So that's what the words would be. So. Any other
Do you need to
comments,
have a
questions?
motion to do that, or how do you
I
proceed?
believe
here?
we've got it, do we have it later in the,
After
yeah,
this,
we'll have to put it on the
after this all
Okay.
moves, we'll put it on the agenda, on the new business, under 8.
And just the other piece that came out of that meeting that keeps cropping up that I'd like to highlight, and that is the connection between the new library and attracting business to the town. It came up in our discussion. Matthew Eddy thinks that way. And it came up again when Mr. Richardson was here. I've forgotten the name of the man who was with him. But he and I got chatting on the way out the door. And as we walked by, I said, you know, I'm part of the Friends, and we're trying to to build this library.
Brian Doyle.
Brian Doyle. And he went in for 5 minutes talking about the importance of libraries and the importance of libraries in terms of attracting businesses to towns. That's a piece that, you know, just spontaneously came up there. Matthew Eddy, before I first met him, came an hour and a half early and just drove around town. And his perception of town is this town is on the verge of being able to do some very fine things, and the library is a key part of attracting different kinds of businesses to come here. And Tom Ursha certainly thinks in those terms. And Patsy Wiggins, when she first walked around town and we got talking, that's the first thing she said, this town needs to think better of itself and be aware of what potential is going on here. And the library and the attracting of businesses is just very interrelated. I think that's a level of this discussion that we need to tease out and get a clearer perspective of and understanding of, and just see how it plays out. It just keeps coming up from people who don't live here. It's people who are outside of us, look at us, and see the connections and the potential. Reminds me of a lot of the individual work that I've done, and sometimes I can see potential in people that they can't see within themselves, like they're so caught up in their own skins. So I just want to highlight that. I think it's an avenue that we really need to spend some time with.
Anything else, folks? All right.
Move that we close this,
Yeah, it was just a...
oh, this wasn't a
actually
public
appointment.
hearing, excuse me, it was just a report.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hearing a delegation? Any correspondence? Okay, 2 items. One, if we're going to act on Jack's request, we need to add that.
I'll
the
move that we
agenda.
add that to number 8 under new business, and that's the support of raising funds for the new library.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Add it as item 8. We also have, Pam, I don't know if you have printed it, but the settlement and release agreement that Ken Cole forwarded.
That's for Nancy to sign. That vote was held a couple of weeks ago that Nancy handled that. Her
Okay.
name is the only one that's
He
on it.
was he
I've
looking
spoken with Ken.
for, okay, so he's looking for her to sign that?
He's looking for
Okay.
her to sign it.
So there's nothing that we have to
It's
add?
in her box, ready to go as soon as
Okay.
she comes back.
Okay. All right, anything else that needs to go on the agenda here that we have
We admitted your report and committee reports.
forgotten? Well, we don't have a town administrator tonight to report, but if anybody has a report from the selectmen, we can do that. All right. New business, vote to discuss, vote, adopt the emergency management ordinance.
I will move that we accept the emergency management ordinance as written with the changes of any place where it says town council to change it to board of selectmen, and the places where it says the town administrator or her successor, to delete her and just say successor. Excuse me, not successor, I mean designate.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Nobody wants to get out of here. Thank you, Pam. I know that you put some work into that, and sometimes all these little projects get done, and then it never comes to fruition, so.
But it helps having the head honcho practically of the whole world writing it for us.
All right, we have a request, which is item 2, and there was a letter that I think you've seen in your correspondence, but I will go through that briefly, from the Waterboro Eagles. They are requesting that they're submitting a blanket letter request. Due to the economy, we're forced to renew our licenses monthly or quarterly. We've always renewed yearly at a substantial cost, $3,500, and at this time, we need to cut back on our monthly spending. We have been operating in Waterboro since 1993, had the same licenses renewed annually with no problems. Would like to save time and the selectmen's time if we send a blanket letter to the state, so we don't have to go through the town each renewal period. The letter only gives the authority of the renewal of the licenses we have held since we've opened, with the exception of the card license you recently approved, and any new license request would have to be approved by the town before going to the approval of the state. The back of the licenses from the state refer to the blanket letters because of this time saver for everybody involved. So, in essence, there will still be an annual approval, but they will, I guess, pay for them on a quarterly basis, right? Is that what I understand?
I think with the letter that they sent, they would only come before you every 2 years. This would cover a 2-year period, and that way they would just quarterly mail it directly to the state. The state will have this letter on file, and that way you don't have to hear them every 3 months.
Now, we could still, because I know with our safety, I don't know if it's an ordinance or whatever, but the fire department goes in every year and checks before.
Right, but that's hinged on their liquor license. This is just their gaming license.
This is just the gaming license. Okay.
So this would cover, and it's really, that we would sign this letter, authorize Waterboro Eagles to submit license applications directly to the state of Maine for a period of 2 years.
Right.
Blanket duration would be from 12/10/2009 to 12/10/2011. To cover for the sealed tickets, daily pool, the cards, and any video poker. Any new license requests would need to be submitted for the town approval. So this would, in essence, blanket cover them for 2 years.
And I think if an issue were to arise, you could probably step in at that point and pull that.
I don't have a problem with that unless somebody can think of something down the road that I'm not thinking about, but I'd say go ahead and I'd make a motion to approve the blanket for gaming licenses for Waterboro Eagles gaming applications.
A second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Discuss a vote on a meeting of 12/29. Going to put this on for food for thought. This is 2 weeks from tonight. We do have a meeting next Tuesday evening scheduled, which is the 4th Tuesday of the month, which typically we would utilize for workshops and whatnot. The 5th Tuesday is a rarity. Only happens a handful of times a year. And I know several of us will
Won't be here.
not be here, but that doesn't mean that there can't be a meeting. But just want to, I guess, poke at that for discussion of what everybody's thoughts are. I mean, we at least need somebody to come in and sign the payroll warrant and that kind of stuff. But what's your pleasure for this?
I don't see anything there that needs to, at this point anyway, that needs to be dealt with in that time period.
So if something of an emergency nature comes up, you can always declare an emergency meeting. Ultimately, it'd be declared by the 3 members that were still here, but
I think after that meeting, we're going to be pretty busy anyways, because
Right.
we're going to get the budget, and we're going to start working budgets after the first of the year. So, you know what, maybe a night off, considering what's going to be coming up January, February.
I'm not going to be coming up for air until probably
Yeah.
July.
So, somebody want to make a motion?
I'll move that we that we do not have the scheduled meeting on the 29th.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So there will not be an official meeting on the 29th, and Nancy and Pam will make arrangements for a couple of signatures for,
Final warrant, so can we schedule that for 5 o'clock or 4:45 or when everybody can get here? But that does have to be a vote.
right. All right, discuss how to handle CIP presentation. Tom has timely walked into the room. I think the discussion last week that we kind of kicked around was, how do we want to handle them this year? Do we want to do the same thing as we did last year, or do we want to do a kind of a group presentation where Tom presents to the board and the finance committee simultaneously, or do we drop back? And I think you did 2 presentations last year, right, Tom? So,
I can't imagine why you'd want to do 2. Is there any reason in your mind why doing it all at once wouldn't be a good idea with both?
step up to the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To answer Cindy's question, when it's done separately, sometimes people will ask more detail on a specific one, and I noticed that in the Finance Committee presentation, that there were a couple specific projects that we ended up spending more time on. In fact, John, I think you attended that meeting. And, but I'm at the board's pleasure. I can do it either way. I think the benefit of merging the 2 together is that it gives you the benefit of hearing each other's comments. And so that if something triggers and on the Board of Selectmen's side, the Finance Committee will hear it and vice versa.
And it's not as heated issue as a budget. I mean, this is the capital plans. I think that, presenting them all together is
Together might give most clarity, and then there's no misunderstanding or misinterpretation from one group to the other.
And then there can always be a, if there has to be a follow-up meeting with either
Absolutely.
group, right? Or both groups, that can be scheduled as we go through it anyway.
The process there is the Board of Selectmen accepts the capital plan, capital improvement plan, right?
Yep.
What about the Finance Committee? Do they have any action on that?
Yeah.
They just have recommendations.
Yeah. It has to go to them. That's part of
It
it.
goes to them, they come up with recommendations, and then
They're-
the Board of Selectmen.
Makes the
Okay.
final vote.
So in that case, I think if we all hear it together, have questions together, the Finance Committee meets afterwards and comes up with their recommendations, and then we meet after that, after they have the recommendations also, and if we need further information on it, we can ask for it.
Now, we need to have a public hearing on the capital plans too, so at some
Absolutely.
point it would all come out in a public hearing anyway.
Well, if I may, one suggestion, if we did have a group meeting, your board may want to set a target deadline for Finance Committee to get back to you by, just in case there's any additional research and investigation that's necessary on any of the projects, then either the department head or I will have an opportunity to get that done for you.
Well, the submittal deadline is done.
Correct.
Our submittal to the Finance Committee is 120 days prior to town meeting, right? Which puts us
Jan-
February or March, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But I would think that we would want to do this sometime in the month of January.
That would be to your greatest advantage. And I noticed that they had posted, correct me if I'm wrong, Pam, January 11th, I believe that they're having a meeting, a Finance Committee meeting. And in that the document is prepared, I'm ready to distribute that to everyone. And if the board would like, I could give you copies of that this evening so you'd have it. And likewise, before the week is out, get it to the finance committee members so that everybody can start going through it.
So if we have a time schedule, like we have a meeting with the finance committee and you make the presentation of the capital improvement plan with questions, and that happens early early January, and if we say to the finance committee, we want to hear back from you within 30 days, and then within 30 days, it will be our intention to act on it.
Sounds like a good game plan. If everybody receives them this week, has a couple weeks to look them over, if we could ideally in the first, prior to January 11th, meet with them, then they'll meet on the 11th because they have a scheduled meeting, and then their report back to you, let's say by the end of January. That will keep you on schedule. So I'm at your pleasure. You pick any date that you want after Christmas and before before January 11th.
You got what I've got.
Now, will the department heads be present at this presentation?
Well, they should be, because the accountability for some of the things they're asking for, the ones that I've prepared or the Board of Selectmen have asked me to either update or prepare, I can answer all those questions. But there may be certain things, for example, that Clint has on his new skidder that he can answer better than I. So I think that would be probably give you the greatest opportunity to get most answers in the evening.
So the only thing that I can see, if we try to do something prior to their January meeting, which is the 11th, we're really talking about either a Wednesday or Thursday night. So you're talking January 6th or 7th. And I don't know what everybody's nights are like, but I know last year we kind of defaulted to Tuesday nights as a selectmen's meeting, and Thursday nights we were doing budgeting type stuff.
And I think the finance committee chair, if I'm remembering correctly, has difficulty with Wednesday evenings.
Right.
I think that's why they moved their meetings to
So
Monday.
why don't we tentatively, if everybody just kind of nods their head here, we say the 7th, and if they're in kind of an action out of this meeting, Pam will, you need to contact her, and if that works for them, then we set it up for a 2-hour session with the invitation to the department heads as well.
Okay.
So that's Thursday night.
Yep.
Yeah. The only concern there is that you do have snow sometimes.
Yep.
It's nice to have a backup and the next,
Well, the backup could be that Monday night that is their meeting night, right?
could do it before the meeting.
Well, yeah.
Well, they meet at 7, you're not going to have time to,
Just-
that's an awful long night for them to
Or-
then
yeah.
sit a couple hours
Yeah.
through
Or
presentations.
their
and then-
meeting, or they were not going to have it done before there.
Well, in that the finance committee doesn't have the full operating budget
Right.
numbers, their agenda might be a little bit lighter at their first meeting in January. So I think traditionally, and as they did last year, they just focused on CIP until they got the operating budget.
So why don't we schedule it for the 7th? The default would potentially be that we roll it into their meeting night, which would be the 11th, which is probably what they're going to talk about anyway, if we get it to them on the 7th. So,
6 o'clock?
yeah, but I think they meet at 7, right?
6:30.
6:30. So I would say, given that they traditionally meet at 6:30, that we probably would start at 6:30 on Thursday night.
Okay.
That work, Tom?
That works real fine. It's on
All right.
on the calendar.
And you're going to get us a copy?
Yes, I'll be quiet, and I'll just bring the 5 copies and set them next to you, John, and you can pass them down to them.
We have to sign for them.
What's that?
We have to sign.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
We plugged this on the agenda only because we had a number of discussions in the past about handicap accessibility. I really think the issue is what, because we were going to plug this into our budgeting numbers. And it really comes of, I guess, how are we going to derive the budget numbers that we think we need to determine what the requirements are for accessibility here?
There's already an appropriation for that entryway, and
Right.
I think it's somewhere in the area of, did she say 7,000, Wes? Somewhere in there. There is also, under the state tax office, a program that they have that they will fund up to $3,500 for making a place of voting accessible to the handicapped. And because the office here takes in absentee ballots and so forth, that it is classified as a place of voting. So we have potentially that reimbursement of funds. So I don't know what the total cost is. My understanding was that Nancy was going to be checking in with some firms on the key card system.
And I think
And
she
the
needs to
electron-
check the bathrooms, too. to
Yeah,
see-
the electronic doors
Yep.
and so forth. So I don't know what we'd have to have for a dollar figure right now.
So I guess we're really, until we get a dollar figure, we're really kind of working with an unknown here, other than we know we
Yeah,
get
we'll-
some money
Yeah, we're
appropriated.
working blind,
Yep.
yeah.
All right, so why don't we kick this to next week, just as a placeholder in old business?
Is there a means to, how would we go about getting somebody to come in and do a handicap
Well,
audit of the building?
been
That's what we need.
there, done that, right?
Me too, yeah.
Most recent, and I'm not sure if Alpha One still does that as a service, but that was one of their roles in life, was that they would come into, and they did, when we were on the other side, years ago, Alpha One is the one that laid out everything that had to happen and recommended what changes needed to be done, and then that was funded from that, okay? Now, I'm not sure whether that is still around, but there is organizations that receive state and federal funds to provide that service, that would identify what has to happen. Now, I think, that being said, I also believe that Carrie had someone from the state elections office, right?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, the
Yeah.
$3,500.
Yeah.
That made some comments or recommendations of what had to happen to make it accessible for voting. I'm not sure that all of those stars align in a perfect world, but what we really need to do is to take somebody like an Alpha One, and I guess maybe we toss that over to Nancy to try to at least find out if there is still an organization like that. I don't know if they still exist or not. They used to be out of Kennebunk, I think.
Maine must have,
Maine
I
Municipal.
was going to say, yeah, Maine must have their own version of the ADA that Nancy could probably call and get some more information on.
I mean, it seems like we can sit here and talk this to death, but what we need is somebody who really knows
Right.
what's what,
Expert.
come in
Yeah.
and give
Right.
us, walk through the building and say, here are your problems, this is what you need to do to fix
Right.
them, and then build on it from there.
And
Yeah.
my guess is you don't have to pay for a consultant here. My guess is there's someone in the state
Right.
that does
Yeah,
this.
I'm guessing too. I'm guessing the ADA website.
So let's just put a note to Nancy that, we need to, I guess, poke at that. But I know that that was a service that was provided, and again, that's 15 years ago now, but I'm just a little frustrated that we built this building within the last
10 years.
7 or 8 years or 9 years, and now we're saying, well, it's not handicap accessible, so. And I understand things have changed, you know, most public banks and stuff have automatic door openers and those kind of things, so I think we need to play that out to say, what is it that it really is? Because I think there's all kinds of opinions on it.
Yeah.
All right. Same kind of discussion with the road budget. I think that was just a kind of a carryover from our discussions last week with our workshop. And I'm not sure we're any closer to saying, hey, this is what we've got to do. I think we really centered around, should we poke around and find out what the prevailing opinions are and with somewhat of a non-binding referendum, or do we just say, hey, we've got a task to the road review committee, they're energized, they're going to develop this thing, it just is not going to be ready for this town meeting?
You know, as we talked before too, this is not going to have a state person that will come down and do this. This is going to cost us money. But we need an independent evaluator to come in, look at our roads, and come up with and work with the road review and come up with a plan. And chances are that's going to cost us a fair amount of money. And you know, maybe at this point, we're at this, we budget for that this upcoming year for the ditching and stuff that we need to do, but we're probably going to need to budget for a road evaluation so that we have a plan.
Yeah, because I think the hard work, all of the groundwork has been done, right?
The RSMS is done. There's an inventory on every road. I got to give some kudos to Nancy Roberge, who's really taken the bull by the horns and is really learning the software piece of that so that she can start generating some reports and compiling the data of the roads and getting an output of that so that it's something that makes sense, or so that you can see which categories of every road is got a category, and she's learning how to take out, okay, I want to see all the roads that are in the poor category. So they're going to have something to work with now. What they really, I know what the road review committee would really like to have at this point is whenever work is done on a road, to have that information on what was done, when it was done, because that's the next piece that goes into the computer system, is what was done, when was it done, what did it cost, so they can keep track of work that's being done on the road, so they can say, okay, you know, the last time we worked on this road was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and keep an idea of what the cost is for road maintenance. But certainly, you know, looking at where we are with roads in this community right now, 87% of the roads graded as poor. So there's some significant work that needs to be done to bring our roads up to standard. Some of them may just need to be shimmed and overlaid, but other roads are going to require reconstruction. And we're talking millions and millions of dollars to do that.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's why I think, that we, in this upcoming year, we want to work with the information that we have, but the next question is what sort of information, and I think an independent source that comes in and looks at the roads and said, here's all the roads that need to be worked on, that need to be reconstructed and should be reconstructed in the next 5 years or something like that. And then that sets up our notion for a bond issue.
Well, and of course, as you said already, a lot of that's in the computer. It's just a matter of, I mean, we have a basic idea now of what roads have to be looked at.
They
so.
can tell you now
Right.
what roads need repair and which roads could go
Are
out
the
a
worst.
few years.
Right,
They can tell you that with the information that they gathered off of the RSMS.
yeah, so that's,
Yeah, so
The question is going to be, what's the level of repair that's needed for any particular road? Is it something that's just going to need to be shimmed and overlaid, or is it the problem deeper down where you're going to have to get into digging up the road, putting down, a road is only going to be as good as its base.
So would we take, say, the worst 10 roads from this report and then have some expert come in and give us an idea of what the 10 worst roads is going to need, or?
My personal opinion, and I know that there certainly are folks out there that would probably disagree quite heartily with this, I think we need to have an engineer come in. We can tell an engineer, here are the roads that, are listed
at,
as
right.
poor. But I think it would behoove us to have an engineer come in and say, this is what needs to be done on these roads, and start getting cost from there.
Yeah, and I guess my point is, instead of having an engineer come in and looking at 52 miles of roads, if we kind of direct him towards the worst
Yeah.
roads, and then have him come in and tell us what that engineering is going to be for that road.
Yep, I think that would be a
Right.
good plan.
Yeah, I think so too. It's probably the only
Again, Maine school, I'm not Maine school, I go back, Maine municipal probably knows some towns that have gone through this process and can give us a step-by-step as to how they've evaluated their roads.
Elliot's going through it right now, so, and they seem to be in as bad shape as we
I
are.
think roads in a lot of communities have been neglected for a number of years, and I think it's catching up to everybody at this point.
Yeah, but I agree that if we can get the worst roads and figure out how much it's going to cost to have an engineer come in and,
I know one of the things that the road review committee is kind of toying with is putting in the budget for a new road counter. The one that we have here is not functioning. It's so old that the computer's broken on it and you can't get parts for it and whatnot. And so I know they've kind of priced them out, and they're looking at one that not only detects speed and traffic count, but also can tell you what class of vehicle travels over that road. Because a road that's just seeing passenger cars is going to hold up better than a road that's seeing a lot of truck traffic. So they're going to be able to, if they were to get something like that, it's going to give them a lot of information that could be used in saying, all right, which roads do we really need to look at first?
now, why would somebody disagree with the idea of having an engineering?
Because they felt the money would be,
Cost
that you'd
money.
put into having an engineer do something would be better spent by improving the roads.
But then, as Dennis pointed out, and you probably know too, evidently some of the roads that didn't get engineered and just got worked on seem to be more of a detriment to us now because they weren't engineered? Is that what you
Well,
were alluding to before?
And some of them, we don't know where they lie anymore,
Well-
right? I mean,
I would know that, but you, like I said, you probably have the background. on it.
anyway, I think we need to, and it really needs to be a session with the road review to say, okay, what are, we all know that there's got to be some next steps. We all know that there's probably a need for professional help, let's leave it at that, right? Whether that's someone that comes out of this MDOT, or whether that's, a civil engineering firm that's like Sebago, the techniques that we've used for years and years and have done that kind of work. But I think we need to, with the committee, come to some sort of a conclusion that these are the next steps, and it's going to cost us X dollars to go do that. I think you bring up an excellent recommendation, John, is that maybe that's what we ask for this year, is to say, we need X dollars to get to that next level.
Do the certain amount of upkeep, then we need an evaluation budget, and along with that evaluation budget would be the counter that it's talking about, because we really do need that.
I agree.
Part of the other part of this conversation tonight that I wanted to have was, last week Nancy sent us all the road budget, and there's an awful lot of numbers in the red on that budget, and it's pretty well spent.
It
Right.
is.
It's gone.
It is.
And Nancy was saying that any further work that's done on roads from this point out is going to have to come out of the capital fund. that's there for the ditching and whatnot, because the rest of the money has been spent.
Right. Now, we can direct the road commissioner, even though he is elected, we can direct him to the fact that nothing else will be done on roads unless it's in an absolute emergency and it's approved by...
We did
Right.
that last year. We put out
Right, but
an
we,
edict that there will be no further monies spent on any roads.
and we won't,
Right.
Be-
So we will not approve any of that.
Yeah,
I think we're
maybe.
at that, I mean, it would be nice to sit with and have Nancy and Fred in this
Right,
conversation, but I think we're at that point where
We have the purse strings.
we knew we didn't have a lot of road money going into the year.
right.
It's been spent. End of the story.
Yep.
We now make it until June 30th. And in July 1, depending on what town meeting does, we start all over again. But
And I really think we need to not put that off for a week or two, but to make sure that that's a priority.
Can put that down on the week's activity list,
Yep.
or the
Well-
things to...
You go 2 or 3 weeks and
Well,
that,
Nancy's back tomorrow.
Right.
so-
Right, and Nancy has the authority
Yeah.
to enact that without us telling her
Right.
to. So I think that, the real put out of here is that Nancy, please sit with Fred and, if she needs a vote from us to support that, that's fine, but I think that it is,
In a sense, I think she does,
Yeah.
because I think Fred being an elected official, Nancy theoretically doesn't have that control over him, but the Board of Selectmen has the control over the purse strings. But, I mean, Nancy can tell him, I'm not going to pay for anything that, from here on out, but I think she needs the Board of Selectmen's backing on that.
because I'm sure it's hard for Fred. He really wants to do his job as an elected official, but if there's no money, there's no money.
Well, what type of contingency fund do we have for emergency situations?
well, I mean, there's always, the contingency fund is how much money comes out of unappropriated surplus from an emergency perspective. Now, winter roads, there is a state law that allows you to overspend winter roads budgets, okay, which has to come out of unappropriated surplus, all right? If we had like we had the Patriots Day storm a few years ago and whatnot, we will do that same thing. We will pull that out of, until we can determine the funding source, right? And in the case of FEMA, we've been very successful in getting 75% reimbursed, but there's only one place that it can come
Right,
from. You
yeah. But-
either move it from one account to the road account, or you say it
But we
comes out-
determine the emergency,
I
Well,
agree.
yeah,
as it states.
yeah.
So, I mean, if someone wants to move that we direct Nancy to move forward, and then I think that probably is appropriate under the circumstances.
Yes, I will. This is pending on, that right now, that Nancy said that the road account is spent. So with that in mind, then my motion would be to direct Nancy to halt all spending on road projects without the selectmen's directive.
Second.
Any discussion? Does that wording work for everybody?
I think so.
All those in favor? Opposed? All right. York County Energy Efficiency Grant, I think Nancy was kind of poking at that. I know that Tammy Jo brought that up. And it would appear that there are other communities in York County trying to capture that money, so, and I'm not sure where Nancy stands with that, so.
Table that for, I'll make a motion that we table that for next week when Nancy's here.
Okay. All those in favor of moving to next week? Okay. Item 8, which has been added, letter of support for the Friends of the Waterboro Public Library to pursue alternative sourcing.
I will move that we accept that letter and sign it.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was anticipating your next.
Well, I've learned to look and delay a little bit.
I've learned to try to be quicker.
All those in favor? Opposed? All right, so be it. No old business, other business warrants and bills for payroll.
So moved?
Second.
All those in favor? Minutes of 12:08.
So moved.
And second.
All those in favor? Pending decisions, personnel policy, Nancy is working that. She needs to bring that to closure. Committee involvement, I thought maybe next week we'd just lay out the first quarter's schedule. Just kind of, we had talked about it, we'll pull them out of a hat or whatever the case may be, and put that in front of everybody next Tuesday night. Training proposal, I know it's being worked by both Nancy and Matt. Signing of land trust deeds. We really, I guess we'll follow up with Nancy, but we need to push Ken.
It's not Kevin, I spoke to Nancy after I talked to you the other
Okay.
day. It's in the hands of
The trust.
the trust attorneys, so.
Well, if we can, anything that we can do to stimulate that would be great, because I think we just need to put that to bed.
Yeah, I got a call on that and saying, what's happening there? And gee, I will see if I can find out something tonight, but are we waiting for the attorneys,
Their attorney,
their attorney?
the land trust.
Okay. And he is, or she is,
He is Rob Levin. Last I knew, there was some discussion about, Ken wanted, there's some questions about covenants in some of the deeds. The land trust is not having the deeds, that just flew out the window.
Research.
Yeah. And the deeds have all been researched at the registry, and they wanted them, what the heck is it I want to say? It's right on the tip of my tongue. Come on, Cindy, help me out, you real...
The title?
Huh?
The title?
The
The
covenants
title
is,
search.
titles, they're-
And I think that there might be some discussion going back and forth between the two attorneys on if that's actually necessary or not.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we're not.
Because we're only
We're only
giving,
going to transfer what we have.
Yeah.
for
right,
interest.
exactly, we're not
Yep.
going to be doing the warranty.
And the land trust is, that's all, the land trust
Just a
doesn't
quick
want to do
claim.
title searches either.
Right. It's fine.
okay, great.
Okay. Parks ordinance, going to revisit that at some point. Streetlight request, now that you said
Parks ordinance needs to be scheduled for
another public hearing.
another public hearing. That's the only thing we're holding up on.
Okay, and it has, and it's been through Natalie?
Yes, we've gotten it back.
So why don't we at least put that on next week's agenda to schedule a public hearing? Week's action list, oh, I'm sorry, the streetlight request, you said Sean is back next week?
Yep.
So we can have him and Matt take a look at that? The week's actions list, schedule meeting with the Finance Committee, we're going to tentatively set that for the 7th. Pam, you're going to clear that with Tina. Next week's agenda,
Also on the week's action list, Nancy getting in touch with Fred about the
Yep.
road budget.
right. Next week's agenda. One of the things we do have, and I know Pam has now printed it out, but I think most of us got this, a copy of this from Representative Innes. I think she's up, I'm not quite sure who she represents, but I'm sure Joe is aware, but they're, she is proposing an LD 2389 on product stewardship, whereby I believe someone that produces a product similar to some of the items that have been done in the past, like TVs, electronics and whatnot, where the product manufacturer has responsibility for ultimately the recycling piece of that. She's looking for an endorsement, so we need to at least take that up and have some discussion. You should look through it. I'm concerned that we allow the DEP to make that call. I would, if that's the way it's going to be presented, I don't want the DEP to make any call without the representatives endorsing it or not. I just can't see giving a DEP an open book to say, oh, this is what we're going to. And I understand it has to start somewhere, but I think ultimately it has to be approved by some. And if it's the Committee on Natural Resources, then fine, but I mean, there should be some yay and nay, but let's tee it up next week. So I think if you don't have I think everybody got a copy that was attached to an email.
Yep.
There is a copy here for hard copy if anybody wants to look at it. And it may or may not reduce our recycling issue. You know that no matter how that shakes out, someone's going to pay for it one way or the other, whether you're the consumer or whether you're the person disposing of it, so.
Well, they're trying to get the manufacturer
Yeah, it's,
or the seller.
there's a fact sheet here, and it talks about today's products and all that good stuff, and it does give we do have some of that stuff going on today. Maine has a product stewardship laws for electronic waste, computers, TVs, printers, cell phones, mercury thermostats. That all has to, and Clint does that today down at the transfer station. We charge,
Yeah, my big TV cost me
we
$35.
charge people to dispose of that, right? That can only be handled by certain
Right.
licensed electronic or
Right.
universal waste, I think is how it's classified. So it kind of is in that vein, but the draft law is I don't know how many pages. It's
I just-
quite lengthy, but.
I just want to see us fall in the same trap that there was years ago when you bought some tires.
Yeah.
You paid the dealer the disposal
disposal
fee,
fee.
and then when you went to the transfer station to get rid of them,
You paid the
you ended up paying
transfer station.
again. So I just don't want to see people get.
When you rent a car, I don't know if it's everywhere, but in Florida, $1 is added to your rental car for tire disposal on the rental car. Isn't that weird?
How many people are going to dispose of the tires?
Well, it's just, if 100 people rent that car, or 1,000 people rent that car, they're supposed to take $1 of it and then put it towards the disposal of the tires at the end.
Guess
Or
that'll
something.
take care of the 4 tires
I
on that
guess.
thing, won't it?
That'll buy the
Anyway,
tires.
so
I know.
maybe, we'll have some discussion, but
It's another way of the rental company to
Take a look
cut
at
their
that.
costs.
what else for next week? Any workshop that we need to, or that we have dealt with? Anybody think-
Maybe we can get Nancy to give us, we already have it, the information for the energy efficiency grant. That'll be on there.
Okay.
Nancy's going to get information on the handicap accessible.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
I
right,
just-
that's out of the week's action.
Yeah, I just sent you all an email and included Nancy. The Alpha One ADA compliance specialist is a Stephen Tremblay
Oh,
out of Scarborough.
oh, good.
And it
Okay.
has phone numbers and contact information, so.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Okay. Items needing signatures in payroll, the warrants and bills for payroll, a blanket letter from the Waterboro Eagles. We also have to sign the gaming applications.
Yes.
Okay, on the back, letter of support for funding, Reminders, tomorrow night at 6 PM, Road Review Committee to Town Hall. 7:30 AM tomorrow morning, WAB meeting, Town Hall. 7 PM tomorrow night, Planning Board meeting here in this room. EDC on Thursday in this room at 4. Thursday at 6:30, the Garden Club. Tough breaking ground right now. Plant your bulbs quickly. York County Community Action will be here Friday all day for fuel assistance. You must have an appointment. Waterboro Water District Trustees meeting Monday night, 6 PM at the Town Hall. Tuesday night, we will be back here. So we're going to take a brief break. 6 PM, and then it kind of starts all over again. Just a reminder that the town offices will be closed starting at 1 PM on Christmas Eve. And they will be closed all day Friday and will not open until Tuesday, okay? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Before we,
Oh,
Tomorrow night,
yeah, go ahead.
tomorrow night, I think the school board is meeting in Alfred? Didn't she say
I
that?
wrote those all down last week.
Yeah, I
but,
wrote them down last week.
yeah, I want to know when it is, because I've got to go to that one. That's this Thursday?
I don't think it's a school board meeting, but I think the
No, it's the budget.
It's the budget.
superintendent.
The budget
The budget.
meetings.
Is it Lyman or line?
Line today, Shepley on the 17th, 21st at Line. That's what I
Okay,
have.
so
Tomorrow night?
The 17th, did you
Okay.
say?
17th.
It's the 17th, isn't it?
It's
Okay,
Shapley?
Shepley,
okay,
21st Line. That's what I had.
okay. Thank you.
Joe?
I'm sorry, just a quick one.
Yep.
Some federal stimulus money has come into the state through Efficiency Maine. It's for the installation of energy-saving projects on the home, insulation, heating, domestic hot water, programmable thermostats, replacement windows. Most, if not all of these, are already covered by federal tax credits, but this would be above and beyond that. For anything that would result in a 25% savings in overall utility costs, there would be 30% rebate up to $1,500. Improvements that would make for a 50% savings on heating costs and all electricity and other utilities. It would be matched with a 50% amount up to $3,000. Now, there is an 800 number here, actually an 877 number to contact. That's 877-334-6583. 877-334-6583. It's sort of a first-come, first-served type of situation. The information I got from John Brodigan at Efficiency Maine says that it'll be limited to 4,000 households within the entire state. So act now. The one catch is it requires an audit, an energy audit, conducted by a home performance certified auditor. We have one in town. That's Bruce Lambert, and Bruce's number is 604-4150. 604-4150. So I'm going to look at it this way. Federal stimulus money comes in this state. I'd like to see
Take it,
come
yeah.
into this district in particular.
Good.
Good.
Thank you.
What else is happening, Joe?
Well, we've got ourselves a little bit.
I know you come here and you sit out every week, and we don't really let you poke at you, but...
That's fine. Bill signing coming up on the 17th, on Thursday. It's more ceremonial than anything else, but there will be a briefing on the budget at that time as well. We're back in session on the 6th of next month, and first order of business will be the curtailments, I'm sure. So that's where it stands right now.
Well,
How do you like it?
it's everything you expected and more, right?
As John Kennedy said, a favorite Chinese curse that he would use from time to time, may you live in interesting times.
Yeah, huh?
You live
You
in
picked an
interesting
interesting time.
Yeah.
You could have
So,
done
yes.
this 10 years ago when life was easy in Maine.
Ah.
Now,
Where's
are
the
you
thing?
still attending the
Bird
road
of
review
Paradise
tomorrow
flying.
night?
You
with
know,
the
there.
DOC?
I'm giving your dad a call. Mr. Stewart is still trying to juggle his schedule right now to make sure he can get there. In the event that he cannot, he is emailing me an application that was sent in by another community within the state when this was opened 2 years ago, to use that as a model as to what types of questions can be asked in this Safe Routes to School program. So we still have that at our disposal for discussion.
Good.
Thanks.
Well, thanks, Joe.
Thanks.
Appreciate you routinely showing up, and we do appreciate your efforts up there in the northern part of the state in Augusta, comparatively northern.
Relative to where we are.
Right.
Mr.
I think
Chairman-
there's global warming up there.
There you
Mr.
go.
Chairman, if you wouldn't mind, just for those that may have possibly tuned in a little late, if you could just mention the Secret Santa project
Okay,
again.
one more time before we adjourn. As most of you may know, on an annual basis, there is a Secret Santa that does a significant amount of work in this community for the underprivileged or the needy. And this, like any other year, is they are continuing that effort. However, they are still in need of toys, donations, of money. Typically, I think there's a shopping spree that takes place, and whatnot, and
And they'll be
So-
shopping Saturdays. So they need
right,
the money
so
Friday.
if anybody is able to donate or would like to donate, if you contact Nancy Johnson here at the town office, I'm sure that she can make arrangements for you to drop off your donation or whatnot. But they need it by Friday, as Saturday or this weekend will be shopping, wrapping, and et cetera. So anything that anyone would like to do would be appreciated. Anything else?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?